Avoid this or you might lose everything. We will be discussing structuring and how to avoid it. Structuring is a serious financial crime that can have severe consequences, and it's essential to understand what it is and how to avoid it. So, what exactly is structuring? Structuring is the act of dividing financial transactions into smaller amounts to avoid reporting requirements and to conceal the true nature of the transactions. This type of behavior is illegal and can result in criminal charges, fines, and even prison time. Why do people structure their transactions? There are several reasons why people may structure their transactions. One reason is to avoid the reporting requirements that apply to large transactions. For example, if someone wants to deposit $10,000 in cash into their bank account, the bank is required to report the transaction to the government. By dividing the $10,000 into smaller transactions, the person can avoid the reporting requirement and conceal the true nature of the transactions. Another reason why people may structure their transactions is to conceal illegal activity. For example, if someone is involved in money laundering, they may structure their transactions to make it more difficult for law enforcement to trace the money back to its source. So, how can you avoid structuring and the severe consequences that come with it? The first step is to understand the reporting requirements that apply to financial transactions. In the United States, transactions over $10,000 must be reported to the government. If you have a legitimate reason for making a large financial transaction, there's no need to worry about structuring. Another way to avoid structuring is to be cautious of the financial institutions you use. Some financial institutions have a reputation for assisting customers in structuring their transactions, and it's important to avoid these institutions. If you suspect that a financial institution is assisting in structuring, it's best to find a different institution to handle your financial transactions. It's also important to be cautious of the people you do business with. If someone is pressuring you to structure your transactions, it's best to avoid doing business with them. This could be a red flag that they are involved in illegal activity, and you don't want to be associated with it. Now, let's take a look at some real-life examples of structuring and the consequences that came with it. In 2019, a businessman was sentenced to prison for structuring his transactions to avoid reporting requirements. The businessman had made multiple cash deposits into his bank account, each just under $10,000, to avoid the reporting requirement. The government eventually discovered the structuring, and the businessman was sentenced to prison for his crime. Another example is a woman who was charged with structuring her transactions to conceal the proceeds of her illegal drug operation. The woman made multiple cash deposits into her bank account, each just under $10,000, to avoid the reporting requirement. The government eventually discovered the structuring and the woman was sentenced to prison for her crime. In conclusion, it's crucial to understand what structuring is and how to avoid it. Always be aware of the reporting requirements that apply to financial transactions and be cautious of the financial institutions and people you do business with. If you suspect that someone is pressuring you to structure your transactions, it's best to avoid doing business with them. Stay informed and stay protected. Thank you for watching this video, and if you found it informative, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more informative videos like this. Stay safe and stay informed.